list. So, yeah, Magmatic Channeler by itself is just a 4/4 that beats face when we need it to. And if you do find a Gurmag, the Magmatic Channeler can very seamlessly change to this Protect the Queen role by adjusting what we're drawing, flipping our dead cards, our extra Gurmags, late game Wraiths, whatever, into more interaction. So yeah, let's update the list on Stream Decker before I forget. Deck upload. That is current. All right. So the advantages of Grixis over like 4-color like we just played is Grixis is going to be a little more streamlined in its game plan. You saw with 4-color, there's a lot of times where you're trying to go threat on one, sometimes your hand disruption on one, sometimes you're passing on one and hoping to interact. Grixis is a lot more, all right, I'm either Inquisitioning or Thought Seizing on one, or I'm Stubborn Denying your turn one play. I don't have to worry about a threat on one. My mana base is a lot smoother because I'm just going like Watery Grave into Steam Vents, Watery Grave into Blood Crypt, Watery Grave into Watery Grave into Blood Crypt, whatever. Our spells are a lot more refined. We don't have to worry about finding an extra color in post-board games. Worrying about like if our mana base is going to cooperate. Everything kind of has its role. Like we've got our defined threats, our defined removal spells, our defined cantrips. You could even argue that with decks like this, you can legitimately break it down into like 3 categories. Like you've got your threats. You've got your support pieces, which are like your ways to find your threats, as well as your ways to finish out the game as soon as you end it, or as soon as you do find your threats, and you've got your interaction. Your removal spells, your hand disruption. Stub can kind of go either way, but it's very clean. I guess something like that would probably be closer to true. Very clean, very straightforward, and I think that's what kind of draws a lot of people to Shadow when they're first getting started. But we'll go ahead and jump into our first league, see how Grixis feels today. You like playing 4 Bolt without 1 or 2 Scourge? I do. I really like the proactive nature of Lightning Bolt. Like being able to Bolt Snap Bolt is huge for closing out games. Just having the ability to interact early on is extremely nice. Dito, how's it going? Congrats on the finals finish in the PTQ on Sunday. Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, Dito absolutely wrecked face in the PTQ. Ended up in the finals. Destroying everybody along the way. A super, super awesome run. And I actually got to see a mirror match yesterday between Will Hall and Pi Gonti, both running Dito's list. And I have to admit, it was the most miserable Magic experience I've ever watched in my life. It was like 2 people slamming their heads on a concrete wall. Nobody budging an inch. Just like, no, my prize. No, my prize. Alright. So the problem if I if I bobble myself and I see something that I want to keep on top, I can't scour myself, so I can't get this Gurmag down turn 2. So I'm going to bobble them. Might give me some more indication as to whether or not I want to hold up, push, or if I'd rather wait. So I think with this, I'm going to scour myself. That's actually a really good draw. Now I can play Angler and hold up Stub if I want. I can just Fatal push here. But I think what I'm going to do is Inquisition, Gut Shot. Does that change my plan at all? I guess if they have Stormwing, I'm kind of in trouble anyway. They don't have Stormwing. So does this mean I'm getting Angler down this turn? I don't care about the Gut Shot too terribly much. So let's say I take Light Up the Stage, play Gurmag. Is that better than just... Get away, bug. Is that better than take Swift Spear, push Soul Scar? I think it's just take... It's close. Don't want them seeing more cards. I don't want them seeing more threats. Let's just go Light Up and pass. Alright. This member is pretty good. So we've got Foothills down. We know perfect information about their hand. Swift Spear down. Are we countering an Opt? I kind of like countering the Opt here, honestly. I'll kill it on my turn because it doesn't change anything. If he draws the blue bird, he can cast it because of mutagenic having a target. Well, I knew he wasn't drawing into the bird. I knew he was drawing into Gut Shot. Yep. Alright, so mutagenic's out of the way. It's now Gut Shot. Unknown. Yeah, I think double threat here is fine. Another Opt off the top isn't bad. Scry to the bottom with Opt. No attack. So I'm going to Fatal Push. Soul Scar. Attack in with Shadow. Play a tap Vents and pass. I know they've got an Arid Mesa, a Gut Shot, and an Unknown. Alright. So if they attack in with a Swift Spear, I would assume something like Bolt, but I'm snap blocking with the Gurmag Angler. And if they do want to go like Bolt the Gurmag, Gut Shot me or something, I'll just take the Dismember on the Swift Spear. Alright. Gust is good. Cling, Blood Chief's Thirst. Terminates. EE's okay, but it's kind of like lower on the list of things I'm really wanting to bring in. So if I don't bring in the EE, I can cut a Channeler. Actually, I think I'd rather cut a Battle Rage because of Vapor Snag. Two threats by turn 3, just draw like that every game, easy 5-0. I mean, when Grixis runs hot, it's like arguably one of the best decks in the format, right? It just doesn't run hot that often. Ricardo, are you off of Mana Leak in the sideboard? I wouldn't say I'm like completely off of it. I just don't know if it's quite where I want to be right now. Another Soul Scar on top. Alright, their hand's not particularly great. When you draw good, the deck is good. Nice. I just mean like when you draw good with Grixis, I would say it's like better than most other decks in Modern drawing good. How about that? Like our really good hands are a lot better than the really good hands of a lot of other decks. Swift Spear off the top. They did have the Stormwing Entity. Yep. Not attacking with Swift Spear. Did you draw the Manamorphose? You actually did draw the Manamorphose. Dang. I was kidding, opponent. They cast it. Okay, they drew land. I was going to say they cast that on their draw step. That'd have been rough. Scryed bottom, bottom. So we've got a blind draw coming off the top. If they attack all, I think I'm bolting a Soul Scar and taking 4. And then I need to draw a land off the top. Not that land. Had much better lands in mind there. What a greedy starting hand. From us or from them? Or both? Did you find the bolt? That also does it. Yep. I was not specific. It's exactly like when I ask for a threat and I get a Street Wraith. Same idea. Nah. We'll run it back. I think our post board 60 here is fine. Almost. Not even close. Uh-oh. Alright, deck. I see what you're thinking here. I can't say I'm a huge fan of it. Yeah, I'm just going to plan to dismember the second creature. We're going to dismember every creature. What do you think about not playing Spellbomb in the sideboard? Have another TBR and something else instead? I don't really like the third TBR option in Grixis. I've played it before when the meta was like really Tron heavy. But for me, I don't think there were enough times that I wanted to see it. Sure. I'm letting this hit me. Probably. Two spell bombs don't help the dredge matchup. Usually I'm not like relying on it against dredge. Like you can beat dredge with battle rage and shadow, but you need spell bombs against like opposing Croxes. I'm not using this to gain life. Grixis with a splash of which color? I am Grixis with a splash of forgetting to change the stream title. How about that one? We played 4-color last league, but this league we are just straight boring old Grixis. Let's just go ahead and kill this. They can Lava Dart me, or Flashback Lava Dart, and get Light Up the Stage going. I can't really do a whole lot about that. Stop it, opponent. got a family. So this is light plus known bolt in hand. Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Rolled a 4, game 3. Called out. Happens. Not on the Delver list today. I mean, like, we know we rotate through decks, right? And we just played it yesterday. And said that we didn't really appreciate it. Like, the Delver list, for anybody who's watching or hanging out or wondering, the Delver list is cool. It needs a lot of work to be refined. Like, just jamming that same list through a bunch of leagues right now isn't going to improve the list. I would say if anybody is curious about it, run it through a league, see what it feels like. And you will probably see pretty quickly what I'm talking about. Harbor Elf. Oh. Know what we're doing, turn 1. Am I running Kroxa? Not in this list. We've got a link to the deck list here, if you would like to check it out. I don't have the guts to try the deck, even though I'm known for crazy builds. Like, the way I keep describing it is the deck is synergistic, but overall it's just not playing anything powerful. So you have to win a lot of matches and a lot of games by like pretty narrow margins. And that's great if you run hot with it. It's terrible if you run average. What on earth is our opponent on? Hopefully they're on lose to Gurmag Angler Tribal. So sure I'm gonna get like dismembered here or something. Main deck Trinisphere. Things cost 3 less, or 3 more, right? And it just costs 3. I think I'm actually just gonna let this resolve and save my stub for something else. Like, I'll hit you in the face and play a shadow. Is this mono green control? Apparently. I think, what's the one that's like you gotta pay 3 more on your opponent's turn? Defense grid. That's what I was thinking about for a second. Alright. So I'm just going to dismember this Noble Hierarch on their upkeep. No point paying life for it, because I can't do anything afterwards. And yeah, they just like passed last turn without doing anything with 3 mana, so I'm going to assume they don't have anything here. And if they do, I can probably Stubborn Denial it. I might cry if they went like Firelit Thicket, Seasoned Pyromancer or something. But Gurmag still costs 7. Take Trinisphere. Taking Trinisphere. You are correct. So, for anybody who doesn't know the interaction, delving away cards is a replacement for paying mana. So, if your opponent has an effect like Trinisphere that causes you to pay extra mana, you can pay by delving away cards. So, because Gurmag Angler, you're already paying more than 3 mana, you're just replacing the way you pay. You don't have to physically tap more lands for Trinisphere. Alright, I'm going to assume Disdainful. I don't actually know. Is our opponent just on, like, mono green Planeswalkers or something? Because if it is, then I expect Disdainful Stroke to be good. If they don't want us casting a bunch of cheap stuff, I'm going to assume Disdainful Stroke's solid. Will Hall, how's it going? Hope you're having an awesome Tuesday so far. Did you stream today? I didn't see you go live if you did. Oh no, you said you were, you had military duty this week, right? I don't know what on earth I want to board out. Just gonna like make some trims here and there. Board like this till we know more about what we're playing against. Okay. Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, Will Hall, the Will Hall Experience in the chat, streams a whole bunch. I think currently is doing some military duty this week, so it might not be streaming over the next couple days. But streams all the variety of decks. I wish I was brave enough to play, like, 4-color Omnath control and jank like that. So if you're ever curious about seeing those decks, highly recommend his channel. If I'm not on here, I'm very likely hanging out over there, checking out what he's got going on. Opponent's got Worship? What on earth am I playing against? I'm so confused. Alright, what is this thing? ETB, search your library for a basic forest and a basic plains. Reveal them, put them into your hand, shuffle your library. Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. So fetch lands are just like completely shut off. Okay. We know Veil, we know Worship. Am I just taking Utopia Sprawl and hoping my opponent whiffs on a mana source here? I think so. And it looks like they did. Okay. So let's go Blood Crypt, play Shadow. And I do need to get this Veil of Summer out of their hand if I want to potentially Disdainful Stroke something. So this is good. So they cast Visionary, I get to dismember something without having to worry about Disdainful Stroke or worrying about Veil of Summer. Words are tough. So let's hit this. Attack with our Shadow. Fetch and Shock down to 4. Play a Gurmag. Say go. Please, opponent, cast a Worship. It's not a Worship. Ewit, so they just die, but I'm kind of curious what they're getting back here. This is like the point where if I was playing in a paper tournament, I would just show my opponent like, hey, I've got this Battle Rage. I don't think the game's going on much longer. If you would like to continue this, we can. But I'm gonna make this gentleman large. Alright. Interesting one. Still don't have much of a clue what my opponent's overall game plan was. The 4-mana thing that doesn't let you pay life is pretty cool. So, like, it stops Dismember. It stops Fetch lands. What else? Don't know what else. Love Post-Ban Modern. Post-Ban Modern is a wild ride. Like, I never know what to expect in any given match. It's so up in the air. Gotta check Twitch. It's being a little, slow and shaky for me. Waka Flocka. It's my favorite band, Waka Flocka Seagulls. Alright, let's leave Pluto Delta. We'll see what our opponent's up to. I could Street Wraith to try to find... Oh, Infect. I was going to say I could Street Wraith to try to find like a piece of hand disruption there. But I don't think it's necessarily too needed. Alright. So this means I could Snap Push next turn. Flooded Grove. Alright. So this means I'm pretty assuredly snap pushing here. I don't think Flooded Grove is a land that Infect should be too interested in playing. The reason being is you often need to like play your spells and hold up available mana. And if you're playing Flooded Grove, as we saw like right there, if our opponent had like a green 1-drop, like another Glistener Elf, they wouldn't be able to Flooded Grove, filter double green, and hold up green on our turn. Or if they play Glistener Elf off Breeding Pool, they wouldn't be able to hold up the green on... or they wouldn't be able to make green on our turn. And it's just like a deck that can't really operate too efficiently without its mana base being a high priority. AJV20, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. Appreciate you coming by and hanging out with us, checking out some sweet Death Shadow action. So my priorities on takes with Thoughtseize here are things like Distortion Strike, Slip Through Space, something that would let this Hierarch swing past my creatures for lethal. Since I don't see any of those, I'm going to take Spell Pierce. I can attack back with my 2 shadows. They have to block or they die. And then I'm holding Snapcaster back. So, because if they do have something that somehow lets them stay alive, I want to be able to throw the Snapcaster in front of this Hierarch since they can't currently give it trample in any way. Fetching and Shocking here to deal 9 so that both of these are lethal next turn if they find another creature. Ironically, our opponent cannot even kill themselves by double mutagenicking one of our shadows. Maybe I should have played around Dryad Arbor there. Or no, they didn't have a fetch land. So yeah, never mind. Scratch that. Do I want K return? It's like okay for sweeping up little dudes. Not great otherwise. We didn't see Ink Moth, but I kind of have to assume they've got it somewhere. Yeah, we got a bunch of good cards for Infect post board. You could shave both the Battle Rages here. Definitely wouldn't blame anybody for it. Like, we're the control deck post board. So as long as we're able to kind of interact on our terms and keep some creatures off the board, we're usually pretty fine. Lightning Bolt's a lot worse against them than, like, Fatal Push is, but so be it. Alright. Yeah, I'm not going to play out this EE just yet. Dryad Arbor. So they do have Dryad Arbor in their deck. Which means they've got to have fetches. So I wonder why they're playing Flooded Grove. Push is nice. So I could push the Hierarch. They redirect it. Maybe they redirect it. Let's go for that, see what happens. I'm fine if they let it kill the Hierarch. I'm fine if they redirect it. I would prefer to hit the Hierarch. Is Channeler more grindy engine card? Seems to be cut a lot. It's definitely a grindier card, but I'm more boarding it out in like matchups where I want to interact on turn 2. Which is kind of where these last 2 matches have been. Like, the first match, I would rather be casting Thoughtseize or holding up Stubborn Denial or something like that on turn 2. In this match, I want to... I want to hold up spells on turn 2. I don't want to tap out. That was a pretty aggressive attack in with the Spell Skite. But, like, Channeler a lot of the time is supposed to be this bridge card between opening hands that don't have a threat and a Gurmag Angler or a Shadow. But it can often act as just a ferocious enabler in the meantime. It can be a clock in decks where you need a clock. Alright. So now we get to have all of our questions answered. What are they hanging on to so dearly? Let's just take... I guess we'll take... Might... Like, I'm not really getting to target them very well if they've got the Spell Skite out anyway. I'm not really getting to target a Blighted Agent. So the extra protection effect with Blossoming Defense I don't think matters so much. So we'll focus on taking the pump spell that does the most most damage right now. Yep. Chip damage is always super important on the Infect side. Alright. Snapcasters are really good draw for us here. So now I can attack in with my shadow. And I'm able to hold up like Snap Push or something to block their Dryad Arbor. And present a removal spell on something else plus stub in hand. So my hope here is they attack with Dryad Arbor. Spellskite, sure. Attacking with Dryad Arbor reduces their mana capabilities. But I want to push the Spellskite anyway. But what I'll probably do... I guess the life loss on the redirect doesn't really matter. So if I target, like, Blighted Agent with a Fatal Push, they might pay the life to redirect it to Spellskite, and then Blossoming Defense their Spellskite. Which is okay. It's not, like, super great. But so let's target Fatal Push. I will present a blocker. See what you do. If you want to save this Dryad Arbor, if you just want to let it die and lose the mana. Like, I'm planning on killing the Dryad Arbor regardless. I want to Fatal Push, like, one of these other spells. Like, Fatal Push the Spellskite. Stubborn Denial, this Blossoming Defense. And they just have to, like, chump block the Shadow and just go on Infinite Abyss mode. Or like a removal spell off the top kills them. Or a removal spell off the top kills them. Alright. 2-1 for Grixis. So for everybody hanging out, as always, greatly appreciate everybody coming, checking out the channel, seeing what we're all about. For those of you who are here for the first time, my name's Michael. Play a ton of Modern, especially a lot of Death Shadow. I think it's the best archetype in Modern. If you haven't yet, feel free to jump into chat. Introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, what got you into Magic, why Death Shadow is the best deck in Modern. You know, normal conversation points. Otherwise, if you're just like hanging out, enjoying the content, enjoying the commentary, feel free to hit the follow button. Doesn't cost you anything, just lets you know whenever we go live, so you can come check out the channel. We play all sorts of different Shadow variants. Like today we played 4-color, now Grixis. We played the Grixis Delver list yesterday. Play a lot of Jund. We've played Rakdos, Esper, Abzan, Mardu, Dimir, Orzhov. Yeah, basically every shadow color variant you can imagine. But that's what we love doing. Pelucranos, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. Obosh. Been a while since I've seen an Obosh deck. Is this hand beating an Obosh deck? So, Obosh is typically either the mono red deck. It's been Gruul in the past, but then they started playing a lot more of the 4-drops like Bloodbraid Elves, things like that, and it became a lot less popular. I don't think this hand is beating mono red. It's got an okay chance against Gruul, but I'm going to kind of hedge on it being mono red instead. I know that M. Hayashi's been working on a new list with some land from Future Sight that you can play face down as a 2/2. Don't remember the name of it to save my life. Verdant Catacombs doesn't make me think mono red either. I don't know if that's just me, but it doesn't scream my opponent is playing lightning bolts. Maybe it is Gruul. Something with a Z Cavern, that one. But I have no idea what the name of it. I guess it is Gruul. Go figure. Zoetic? Is that the name of it? Zoetic Cavern? Alright. If they got a second bolt, this is a little unfortunate. I guess they just could untap Blood Moon. Maybe we should have thought about this a little bit more. First time in your stream, and I'm really enjoying it. As I said an hour ago, I want to come back to Modern and searching for a deck at the moment. I have a feeling you like to play Shadow. You would be correct. Greetings from Germany. Awesome, awesome. Jaeger, glad to have you here. We do have a few people here that hang out that are from Germany. Don't blood moon me, bro. Don't blood moon me, bro. God. Yeah. We have to just double stub this. Well, they're not resolving Blood Moon, but I don't really want to give up the 2 stubborn denials there. But I guess in the end, it's worth it. So we're going to play out a Gurmag Angler here and do our best, our absolute very best, to put our opponent on their back foot here. Seasoned Pyromancer would be rough. But we at least get to see more cards. See what happens. Taking the 5. Okay. Why Thoughtseize when we don't have to? Okay, so Gruul. We know Aether Gust is coming in. How much do I want to play into the Blood Moon idea? So, I like cards against Blood Moon that are easy to cast through Blood Moon. So things like Terminate and K-Command actually get a lot more useful over things like Stubborn Denial, Snapcaster Mage, because we only need basic Swamp for them. We don't have to fetch out both of our basics early. Plague Engineer is great for the stupid 1/1, why can't I think of his name? Utopia Sprawl dude. Harvard. Why can't I not think of that stupid thing's name? Arbor Elf, that one. Great against that. EE is a possibility. Snapcasters, I think, are pretty bad because between like Clothis, Relic of Progenitus, like our grave gets taken off pretty quickly. We have something like this. Maybe a Kozilek's Return's okay just to clear out a bunch of tokens if we need to attack. I could buy that. So I tried updating the stream title, and it gave me an error message. Let's see if it's fixed now. Grixis Shadow. Alright. It's updated now. All y'all calling me out on it. The fourth color is your imagination. Imagination. Alright. How was 4-color today? Which list did you play? We did 4-1 with it. And the list we played... Let me pull up Stream Decker and I will show you / send a link to you. We played... As soon as Stream Decker comes up. This. I'll drop the link in chat. And show it up on screen for a second. Some Lavamancers, some Hex Drinkers, a Kroxa, 4 Stubs in the main, a couple Aether Gust in the board, Lurrus is a companion. But yeah, we got the link down below so you can check it out at your own leisure. Give me an elf that I can kill. It's not an elf opponent. Alright, so let's go Bauble, Polluted Delta, pass. Playing Polluted Delta over the Scalding Tarn here because if our opponent goes for a turn 2 Blood Moon, we need to be able to get a basic swamp off of this. Alright, what are they pitching away? They discard a Stomping Ground after not playing a second land. What do I think about that? Discard Stomping Ground, no second land. Not really sure what to think about that. So let's go Shadow, Shadow, pass back. I'm back. Damn, internet died. Oh no. Are you working from home today, or did you have to go to base for your military work? Would you say Shadow also has a safe spot in the meta with Modern Horizons 2 upcoming? I think its spot in the meta is like always fine. I wouldn't go out as far as saying like, oh yeah, it's a lock to be a perennial top 8 contender. But I mean, you're always going to have a proactive game plan of like hand disruption into threat with removal, counter spells backing it up. So no matter how the meta shifts, like you're just doing something individually powerful and proactive. And like that's a huge benefit to the archetype. Means that like no matter where the meta shifts, you can kind of fluctuate here and there and adjust. On camp for 36 hours. Well, no wonder you got terrible internet. You need to tell the British intelligence to get on that. Can't be cutting out in the middle of your stream watching time. Shadow seems to have a ton of flexibility between the Color Pie now and Luris. It's reasonable, safe, core to the format archetype these days. I agree. Like, I don't think there's anything out of Shadow that's just like, oh, this has to be banned. This is too good. So we've got Gendrick, but not of the TSP variety. How many Gendricks are there? Okay. Not the worst. Spire Bluff Serum. Makes me think Storm. Could potentially be Prowess, but Prowess keeping 7 without a 1-drop might be a little off. Since they scryed 1 bottom, 1 top, I'm just going to scour myself. If they had scryed like 2 top, then I probably scour them. Then I'm going to play out Shadow here because if my opponent goes like turn 2 land mana reducer and I get to snap dismember it, I feel okay. Not like I'm necessarily winning, but I've got a chance here. If they go like land grape shot your Shadow, then they've got to take the risk of me having stubborn denial. If they go land like Morphos, whatever, then they got to take the risk of stubborn denial. How do you like the Shadow versus Burn matchup? I find both sides saying they think they are favored. I guess my response there would be let's look at the data. Haven't updated this too recently, so I need to. But like Jund against Burn, a little bit in our favor. Grixis green was great. Scourge, we didn't really play against Burn much. But like Grixis, we've been favored. 4-color, we've been favored. They're not like major percentages by any means. So like, I'd say I think that we're favored, but I don't think it's by some like ridiculous, wide, impossible to overcome margin or anything like that. Alright, so the plan here, get in this 4 damage here, pass the turn, let them do whatever they're going to do. I'll probably go for like a snap, dismember my own snap on their instep so that I can untap, Battle Rage my Shadow, and recast it through a Remand. With blue, good for Shadow. Without blue, close to 50%. Leaning to any of them based on the deck list and small changes. That's pretty spot on. It absolutely gets more favored the more blue you're running in your deck. It's like Stubborn Denial is a hell of a card against burn. But Stubborn Denial gets a lot worse the closer you get to like 4-color variants, where your mana base is just a lot more painful. Come on, just empty the Warrens. Just empty the Warrens one time. Alright. Now, what's my plan? Alright, so they've got to throw a bunch of goblins in front of this, this Shadow. What do you think of Blight Beetle versus Heliod and Traverse Shadow? I think it's fine. You're going to have to throw a lot more goblins, opponent. So this is representing... I don't like this block out of them. The reason being... I think that they need to block, yes. But I think you either need to say, I'm going to die to Battle Rage, or I'm not going to die to Battle Rage. You can't really be in between. And that's what this is. This is an in-between block of like, I'm not going to die as hard to Battle Rage. Maybe they're, or let's see, if we were at 5, 8, Shadow, if we didn't have another shock land, we're going to 9, 18 Trample. So that's what they were protecting against. It's just us not having another shock land. So, yeah. Apologize to our opponent. Block was fine. I'm used to thinking about me knowing my list, and I always play a second Blood Crypt. Yeah, they are dead to another removal spell, but if they're just playing around us not having another shock land, then the block's fine. They probably need to go ahead and put 4 on and play around like second removal spell and us not having another shock land. But I'm not like as concerned about it when it's just playing around shock land. I think that's fine. Alright, so this is a typical don't want to overboard matchup. Like, we've got so many really good tools in the matchup that kind of our goal is just to not dilute ourselves too much. This hand's fine. Doesn't lose to Plague Engineer, which is kind of like the big thing post-board. We've also got interaction for an Aria Flame. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and fire off this Thoughtseize. I'm going to take the roll. Yep. Now almost all Grixis lists played 2 Blood Crypt. I mean, so few people are putting out Grixis content now, right? So it's hard to really know what is what's stock. This Aria Flame. I don't think you should do that. Okay. Pieces, I guess, is like okay, but I don't think you should expend all of those resources on like a whim there. Like, oh, I might hit something. So their hand is Desperate, Pyretic, Empty. And a Shivan Reef that I think I accidentally clicked away. Desperate, Pyretic, Empty, Shivan Reef. So let's get Channeler down here. Because Channeler, if I miss on my 3rd land drop, Channeler's going to let me get a couple extra looks at it. Steven, how's it going? How's the grinding been today? We had a 4-1 with 4 color. We're currently 3-1 with Grixis, playing for the 4-1. Dying to play again. I mean, just gotta hold out. Alright, how many rituals are we throwing in front of this this empty? So they've got Shivan Reef, Desperate Ritual, Pyretic Ritual, Empty the Warrens, Unknown. Let me double check before I... Yeah, they revealed Shivan Reef off Thoughtseize, so we know it's still in their hand. Oh, did WotC put up results again? Are we no longer in the dark? They are. They are. We don't have anything backdated, but hey, it's a start. It's a start. Alright, so we're just going Swamp Plague Engineer here. Use Ritual, Empty. So their hand is Shivan Reef, Unknown. So I think, yeah, I think I'm just going to Plague Engineer, attack for 1. Not that I'm bitter he got the Shadow Publication when you and Dogfish all got 5-0s. It is pretty funny, though, because I think while Wizards had their little, like, vacation, I think we posted, like, 7 or 8 Shadow trophies during that time, and we're just going to get, like, none of them published. The old bait and switch. Oh, pieces of the puzzle, sure. Slights. They've got a Pyretic Ritual in hand. 2 unknowns. Island is actually a really funny draw, because this allows me to get Channeler up to a 4/4 by putting Scour, Cling in my yard, and hold up Stubborn Denial. Or that gets Channeler up to a 4/4, I guess. Am I planning on... Okay. So now all of my questions are kind of getting answered for me. With Gurmag Angler on top, I can just crash in with both of these. Cling something out of their yard into Gurmag. Probably empty. It's got like the most implications potentially. Play Gurmag. 4, 5, 6. Gurmag. And pass. You think they're going to ban something from Heliod? I don't think so. Like, you kind of have to take into account, if they ban something from Heliod, what would they be banning? Alright. So I can attack. No, I need to Channeler away something here. So that gives me my 5th card in the yard outside of Cling, so I can just Cling this, what's it called? It's Past in Flames. And if I hit a land as such, I can Inquisition out of their hand and then Cling. In case their last card's like a Remand or something. Which it is not. So let's just go ahead and Cling to Dust to Past in Flames. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And they go. Alright. Grixis is coming through with the 4-1 as well. So what do we think about that league? What was our loss to? Before I forget. Scroll way down here. Bugsy. What was Bugsy on? Prowess. That was also the one that I think we mulled to 4 game 3. So overall, I think Grixis performed very well that league. Obviously, we saw threats a decent bit of the time. I don't think we had a game really where we were like spinning wheels for a long time trying to find a creature. So that was very optimistic. Oregon 12, Oregon. Please correct me on the pronunciation. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday morning, evening, or afternoon. Wherever you're at in the world. Appreciate you coming and hanging out. Yeah, I mean, like, Grixis ran pretty well there. We saw our threats on time. We saw decent interaction. We had one matchup against, like, the mono green deck or green white deck, something, where our opponent just, like, really didn't do much the entire match. But other than that, very solid. Sammy Deluxe, thank you as well for the follow. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. Out of the board, Disdainful Stroke, I don't think did much this league. We brought it in against the green-white deck. Maybe like Mystical Dispute is something we should try out in that slot, but I don't think I'm really in love with it either. Plague Engineer looked great against Storm. Blood Chief's Thirst was one I was kind of messing around with just because of the influx in Hex Drinkers. So being able to like Blood Chiefs with Hex Drinkers, Snap Blood Chiefs it later, just to get those kind of things off the board. Greetings from Argentina. I think you're the first person who has said they were from Argentina. We got some Brazilian faces in the chat most of the time, but I think you're the first Argentinian. That's right, isn't it? Argentinian? One of the two. Do you think the list can support 2 Scourge in the Mage place? I think it's fine if you wanted to go with 2 Scourges. You just have to accept that there's going to be a lot of games where you don't have Scourge out turn 2. Like, we have 0 1-drop threats. So the only way you can get out a Scourge on turn 2 is your opponent damaging themselves off like a fetch, shock, Thoughtseize, something like that, or bolting your opponent in the face. I highly recommend not doing the latter, but I think Scourge is fine. I just like Channeler because I can always play it out on turn 2. And if it's not beating my opponent in the face, it's got some utility. So even if they drop like an Auriok champion in front of it, I can still get value out of my Channeler. Silva, Brazil here. Always so many Brazilian players. Like, the Brazilian Magic community is insanely devoted. And a bunch of really awesome players. But yeah, I think that Scourge would be fine. You could also go back up to the 4th Angler over a Channeler. No issue there. I just kind of wanted to try out the Channelers. And I feel like I've been having a second Gurmag Angler stuck dead in hand more often than I would like recently. So that's kind of why I trimmed that 4th Gurmag slot. Is Dito back on Shadow? I don't believe so. I think Dito is still playing like 4-color, 5-color Niv to Light, Omnath decks. Alright, so I think, let me refresh Twitch. I think I'm going to call it there. Where are we sending everybody? Ooh, here's somebody streaming some Jun Shadow. So I'm gonna send everybody to Zio Francone, who's currently playing some Jun Shadow. It looks like Ben Jones' list. Let's see. They played Niv Mizzet. One Tasker. A Tasker is an option, but I hate the reduction of power from Gurmag Angler to Tassiger. Like, I get the costing one less to get it on the field, but cutting your entire clock by a turn just for that, I don't think is worth it. And the number of times that one extra card allowing you to cast Tassiger but not Gurmag comes up so few and far between that I just don't think the consistency of a 4-turn clock or 3-turn with Battle Rage being increased by a turn is worth it. But yeah, I'm going to send everybody over to Zio Francone. So if you want to stick around, feel free to share some love from the channel. As always, appreciate everybody coming and hanging out, checking out some Shadow gameplay today. If you aren't already, as always, feel free to hit the follow button if you're enjoying the commentary, enjoying the channel. Always appreciate it. Doesn't cost you anything, just lets you know whenever we go live. Otherwise, yes, stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Enjoy some good food, good company. Appreciate all the continued support. Thanks to the new followers. Thanks for the new subs, the resubs. And I will catch everybody back here tomorrow. So until then, adios.